The planet Vera was dying. Flames covered its green forests. Its skies were black with smoke. People ran, screamed, and hid as giant metal creatures tore through cities. These monsters didn't speak. They didn't stop. They didn't care. They were machines, but not normal ones. They were alive in a strange, terrifying way. And they were not from any known world. Vera was a peaceful planet. It had no army, no weapons strong enough to fight such things. The Council had promised safety. The Council had lied. Inside a half-destroyed control tower, a young technician named Lyra sat shaking. Her fingers hovered over a broken console. The main comm system was dead. No help had come. Still, she tried. Please. She whispered, "There has to be someone out there." The monsters were close. She could hear the humming sound they made, like a deep growl from the stars themselves. Her friends were gone. Her city was ash. She was alone. Lyra looked at the last working transmitter, a tiny device not meant for emergencies. It couldn't reach the nearby planets, couldn't reach the Council, but maybe, just maybe, it could reach farther. One frequency was still open. One direction, one system no one ever used anymore. Earth, that the galaxy had banned contact with. Earth long ago. The humans were called dangerous, wild, unpredictable. Some said they had destroyed entire systems in past wars. Some said they had simply vanished after showing what they were capable of. But now, Vera had no choice. Lyra took a deep breath. Her hand hovered over the button. If she sent the signal, and Earth responded, what would happen? Would they help? Would they destroy everything? She pressed it. A high-pitched hum filled the air. The lights blinked once, twice, then the transmitter glowed red. Message sent. The monsters heard it too. They turned, their heads round and glowing with red. Lights all pointed toward her building. A loud, horrible screech echoed in the distance. They were coming. Lyra closed her eyes. Then something strange happened. The screech stopped. The ground shook, but not from the machines. Something bigger had entered orbit. In the Council chamber far across the stars. Dozens of alien leaders argued. A hologram of Vera spun above them, showing fires, deaths, explosions. "We must send aid," shouted one. "We already tried," said another. "Our fleets were pushed back in minutes." "They're not invincible. We can build stronger ships." A cold voice interrupted them. "They sent a signal," said one of the elder beings, its skin dark and wrinkled. "To whom?" "Ask the others." The elder didn't answer at first. It just stared at the spinning hologram. "Finally," it whispered. "To Earth." The room went silent. All motion stopped. Not one alien in that chamber spoke. Even the air felt heavy. The word Earth carried weight no one liked to touch. "They're extinct," one counselor said, quickly, trying to laugh. A myth, a threat told to scare children. But another being's screen lit up with live data. No, something moved in the Terran system. A launch, a jump gate, no identification. But the stars near Vera just went dark. The counselors leaned in. Dark? Someone repeated, "Not destroyed. Not damaged. Just silent. No signals. No light. Like something is swallowing everything." The elder's voice spoke again. "They've answered." Back on Vera, Lyra looked up. The sky had changed. A massive shadow hung above the atmosphere. Not a normal ship, not like anything she had seen before. It had no visible engines, no windows, no weapons. But it was huge. So big it blocked the stars. The machines on the ground froze. Their red lights blinked and then turned blue. Then nothing. They collapsed one by one. Lyra watched, stunned, as the monsters simply died. The building she hid in trembled as something approached from the sky. A drop pod, sleek, black, silent. It landed near her without a sound. The door opened. A figure stepped out. Not a robot. Not a monster. A human. The person was tall, wearing full black armor that moved like liquid metal. No insignia. No face. Just a glowing white light in the center of their chest. Lyra took a step back. The human spoke in perfect galactic common. You called. We came. And then, without another word, the human turned and looked at the dead machines. Lyra didn't know whether to feel safe or scared, because the moment Earth returned, the stars had gone silent. The massive black warship still hovered over Vira. It didn't move. It didn't flash lights. It didn't even make a sound. But everyone who looked at it felt one thing: fear. Even from space, the ship looked alive. Like it was watching, waiting. No one knew what it was called. It had no markings. The Galactic. Council's ships always sent signals, shared codes, announced their names. This one sent nothing. Yet it controlled the skies with just its presence. Down on the surface, Lyra still stood near the human in black armor. Her legs were weak. Her voice trembled. Who? Who are you? The armored figure didn't turn. He stared at the fallen machines scattered across the burning city. Earth's response unit, he said calmly. Designation: Ghost 01. She blinked. Ghost? He finally turned to her. Behind the black helmet was no face, just a smooth glass shell that reflected fire. We don't bring fleets. We don't bring speeches. We bring silence. Above them, the warship opened. From its belly, hundreds of thin black shapes dropped. They fell silently, like shadows with wings. No fire, no engines. Just quiet pods, falling fast, like death from the sky. All across Vera, the shadows landed. Each one opened. Inside was a soldier. Not robots, not clones, real humans. But changed. Their armor looked alive. Their movements too perfect. Their eyes glowing white through their helmets. No two looked the same, but all had one thing in common: no fear. One by one, the humans began, sweeping the ruins of Vera. They didn't speak. They didn't ask questions. They didn't harm civilians. They were looking for something, and when they found small, crawling pieces of the broken machines still trying to escape, they destroyed them instantly, sometimes with weapons, sometimes with a touch, sometimes with just a word. Shut down. In the stars, enemy ships still floated around the Vera system. The invaders had arrived in large numbers days ago. No one knew where they came from. They didn't answer calls. They simply attacked. But now, they had stopped moving. Dozens of Council scout ships hiding behind Vera's moons tried to scan the Black Terran ship. But their systems failed. One brave scout sent a message. Unidentified vessel. This is Council Scout 9. Identify yourself. What are your intentions in Vera's orbit? Silence. Then, without warning, the scout systems went dead. All lights off, all power gone. The ship drifted, then exploded in total silence. The other scouts fled. In the Galactic Council chamber. Panic spread. This is an invasion? No, it's a punishment. We have to respond. We have to stop them. But the oldest counselor stood still. It's voice cracked with age and fear. Double quotes. No. We called them. Remember? The signal from Vera. We let it happen. A younger member shouted, but they're killing our scouts. The elder replied, and yet, not one civilian on Vera has been harmed. Not one building that wasn't already burning was touched. They're not invading. Another counselor whispered, then what are they doing? Back on Vera, Lyra followed Ghost 01 as he walked through the ruins. They reached a machine still, twitching half alive, wires dangling. Lyra looked scared. Don't go near it. Ghost crouched beside it. His hand reached out and touched the metal. The machine screamed. A terrible sound rang in the air, then silence. Why did it scream? She asked. He stood. Because it remembers. Remembers what? You? This? He looked up at the black sky. The council tried to make weapons. Weapons they couldn't control. It got loose. You all paid the price. And now ... we clean it up. Lyra swallowed hard. You're not here to save us, are you? Ghosts. Voice didn't change. No. We're here to make sure this never happens again. More humans arrived. Not in ships, just walking out of the smoke. Tall, calm, quiet, one held a strange device. It blinked red. We found the nest, the soldier said. Ghost nodded. Burn it. No explosives, no noise, only silence. The human pressed something. In the distance, a building vanished. Not blown up, just gone. Like it had never been there. Lyra stepped back. What did you just do? Ghost looked at her, erased the mistake. As night fell over Vera, the stars above began to vanish again. But this time, it wasn't smoke, it was ships, more of them. Thousands, not glowing, not humming. Just dark, black ships imperfect. Rows, waiting, the stars were falling silent. Not from war, not from death, but from Earth's arrival. The Galactic Council's private channel was always secure. Only trusted members could speak on it. No outside voice had ever broken through until now. A low hum echoed inside the chamber. Lights flickered. Screens blinked off. Then turned back. On showing only one face. A human. A woman with sharp eyes and a calm expression stared back at them. Her dark armor looked like liquid steel. A glowing white symbol pulsed slowly on her chest. The council members froze. Some shouted. Others tried to shut down the connection. Nothing worked. The human woman began to speak. My name is Commander Era of Earth's Silent Command. You sent a signal. We received it. Her voice was soft, almost emotionless. But every word hit like thunder. You built the swarm. You used our old war designs. You thought you could improve on death. Counselors gasped. Some denied it. Others looked guilty. AYR continued. Your swarm broke free. It killed billions. It nearly consumed Vera. She leaned closer to the screen. But you didn't call us to confess. You called because you lost control. A pause. And Earth does not answer weakness. In the command center on Vera, Lyra watched the broadcast with shaking hands. The Terran soldiers stood still, listening silently. Not one blinked. Not one moved. Ghost 01 turned to her. This message is not for you. It's for those who built the fire and let it spread. Lyra asked, what is Earth going to do now? Ghost replied, show them what silence really means. Back in the council chamber, the screen behind Era changed. Now it showed stars' entire star systems, one by one. As each system appeared, red dots lit up. Enemy signatures. Swarm activity. Era's voice became colder. Earth has identified. Every infection point. Every place your secret project spread. Every lab, every test site, every buyer. More dots appeared. The whole galactic map looked like it was bleeding. You hid the truth from your own people, from each other. But not from us. The council's lead speaker stood, slamming a clawed hand onto the table. You have no right to take action without the council's vote. Era didn't even blink. You lost that right when you built monsters using our stolen blueprints. The screen showed one final thing. Earth's fleet, hundreds of ships, thousands of black pods. A wave of darkness moving through space calm, organized, and coming fast. AYRA ended with a sentence that sent cold down every counselor's spine. We're not coming to ask. We're coming to end it. On distant planets, secret labs began. To vanish, not explode vanish. No fire, no debris, no noise. The council called it the silent storm. Eyewitnesses reported black figures walking through walls, touching machines, and everything turning to dust. One message repeated across old swarm communication bands: return to the void. No one understood it, but the swarm did. They screamed when they heard it. Meanwhile, on Vera, humans weren't just fighting. They were healing. Terran medics gave food and supplies to the survivors. Engineers helped fix clean water systems. Drones rebuilt hospitals fast, precise, emotionless. Lyra stood beside Ghost, watching the city change. You're helping us, even though we caused this? He shook his head. Not you. The ones above you. The ones who play with power they don't respect. She looked up. Will Earth stay? No, Ghost replied. Earth never stays. We arrive, we fix, we vanish. Why? Ghost finally turned to her, helmet shining under the dim light. Because if we stayed, the galaxy would never be free again. At the edge of known space, Earth's fleet reached the first infected planet. No warnings. No delays. They began. With every system they entered, the stars fell silent. Asterisk at the edge of the galaxy, the stars disappeared. Not because they were destroyed, because Earth's fleet covered them. Thousands of dark ships spread out in every direction. No bright engines, no glowing weapons. Just shadows moving in silence. Operation Silent Sky had begun. Each ship carried teams of Deathworlders trained on Earth, hardened in silence. No flags, no music, no colors, just black armor and eyes that didn't blink. Where they landed, the enemy vanished. Where they moved, light dimmed. Where they touched ground, war ended instantly. But this was no rescue mission. This was a correction. On Vera, Lyra watched as more human teams moved out across the burned landscape. Ghost 01 stood beside her on a cliff overlooking a deep crater. That crater had once been the enemy's breeding hive. Now it was empty, clean, smooth, and unnaturally quiet. How did you destroy it? She asked softly. Ghost didn't look at her. We didn't destroy. We erased. Lyra frowned. Is that different? Yes, he replied. Destruction is messy. Erasure leaves no trace. No chance for rebirth. She shivered. How many planets are you doing this to? Ghost tapped his wrist once. A map appeared mid-her. Dozens of systems blinked. Red. Dozens more blinked out. Lyra gasped. You're wiping them out all at once? No, he said. This is only the beginning. On a council world named Belnax, a high-security research lab suddenly went offline. No alarms, no explosions. Just silence. The guards never fired a shot. The doors never broke open. But the next morning, the entire building was gone, replaced by smooth black glass, flat and cold. The message written across the front said only, "Error removed." Back in the Galactic Council chamber, arguments had turned into chaos. They're out of control. This is genocide. No, it's precision. They're not killing civilians. Only targets connected to the swarm. They don't ask for proof. They don't need it. They already know. A quiet voice rose in the back of the chamber. It was the same elder who had spoken before. We gave Earth a reason. The elder said, and Earth gave us silence. No one had a reply. In deep space, a council fleet tried to stop Earth's advance. 30 battleships moved to block the humans from reaching the Arantha Cora, zone rich in Forbidden's research. The moment the Earth fleet arrived, the stars blinked. Sensors failed. Weapons refused to lock. Communication systems jammed. The council. Ships floated helplessly, drifting like metal leaves in a storm. From the darkness, hundreds of Terran warpids moved forward. They did not fire. They entered the enemy ships. One by one, the ships powered down. Crews were unharmed, but all memory systems were wiped. Logs deleted. Coordinates erased. By the time Earth's fleet left, the Council's ships were like newborns alive. But empty. Back on Vera, Lyra asked Ghost something she hadn't dared before. What happens after this? After you fix everything? Ghost paused for the first time. Then he said, we vanish, and the galaxy returns to its games. Until it needs us again. That's sad, she said. No, that's order. She looked at him carefully. You don't enjoy this, do you? Ghost's voice was quiet. No, we were made for this. Made? She asked, or became. He didn't answer. On a ruined moon orbiting Vera, a final pocket of swarm drones activated. They crawled from the rocks, sensing life. But as they moved, the sky turned black again. A single human walked across the dead surface alone. Unarmed, the swarm charged toward him. He stood still, then whispered, return to the void. The entire swarm collapsed. No noise. No signal. No escape. Just silence. In the shadows of stars. Earth's warships watched. They didn't celebrate. They didn't speak. Because victory wasn't their goal. Only silence. Only balance. Only the reminder. You built the fire. We are the cold that follows. It started slowly. A soft shift in background signals. A drop in traffic. Navigation lights flickering off. Then it spread. Across hundreds of systems, satellites went dark. Broadcasts ended mid-sentence. Star beacons blinked once and never turned back on. The stars didn't explode. They didn't fade from sight. They simply went quiet. No one saw missiles. No fleets. Nothing. But every race, every world, every captain and commander knew what had arrived. Earth. On the Council. Homeworld, a planet of shining towers and endless data clouds. People gathered in fear. Trade stations shut down. Military signals were silent. Children pointed at the sky, at a moon that used to shine white, but now glowed faint red. The Council's last working feed played one looped message. Operation. Silent sky. Phase 2 complete. No one knew what Phase 3 was, but no one wanted to ask. On Vera, Lyra stood on a rooftop, watching the stars. They're gone, she whispered. Ghost 01 stood beside her. No, they're still there. Just quiet now. Lyra turned to him. Why silence? Why not show strength like the Council always does? Ghost looked up. Because noise can be ignored. But silence? Silence makes you listen. Far beyond, inside the black command ship, Commander Era stood alone. Before her floated a large holographic sphere, the map of the galaxy. Most regions now glowed dark gray, peaceful, disarmed. But some corners still pulsed red, places still hiding what the Council built, places where the swarm still grew in shadows. She raised her hand. One word left her lips. Phase 3. Her crew didn't cheer. They vanished. The last remaining swarm base was hidden on a hollow asteroid, surrounded by false gravity and cloaking fields. Inside, alien scientists worked nervously, trying to transfer research to escape pods. They didn't see the breach. They didn't hear doors open. Because the doors didn't open, they dissolved. A single Terran unit walked in. No armor this time, just a black uniform. Face visible. His eyes were calm. Too calm. One scientist screamed. We didn't mean to create them. We were ordered to. The human didn't raise a weapon. He touched the wall. Everything inside stopped moving. Even time. On Council Station 6, a general stared at a message sent directly into his private neural feed. It was 5 seconds long. A voice whispered, "This is what comes after warnings." When he blinked, the message was gone. So was the station's power. All across the galaxy, worlds reported strange things. Entire fleets drifting empty, their crews alive but asleep. Weapon systems that refused to fire code overwritten. Silently, data networks reformatted with one word at their root: Earth. No one admitted what was happening, but everyone knew humanity had returned. And it didn't need to shout back on Vera. Lyra followed Ghost through the restored city. Plants were already regrowing. Water ran clear through old channels. Clean shelters stood where rubble once lay, but something deeper had changed. The sky was too quiet. No space traffic, no distant chatter, no color. Will it stay like this? She asked softly. For a while, Ghost said. And then? He looked at her, really looked. For the first time, she thought she saw sadness behind that faceless helmet. Then it depends on the council, on what they learn or don't. She bit her lip. If they make another mistake? His voice turned colder. Then we return. And the silence gets deeper. Above them, the giant black ship lifted slowly into the sky. Its surface shimmered once, then disappeared. No boom. No light. Just absence. As if the air itself forgot something had ever been there. Lyra stared for a long time, not in fear, but in awe. Somewhere, deep in the galaxy's heart, Earth itself remained unseen. No signals. No broadcasts. No answers. Just one silent, terrifying truth. The stars went quiet. Because Earth spoke, and it only had to speak once. Weeks passed. The war was over. No more screams, no more fire. No more machines crawling through cities or infecting systems. What had once seemed impossible was now done, but peace didn't feel like peace. It felt like silence. Heavy. Watching. Waiting. Because Earth hadn't stayed. It had cleaned the galaxy's wounds. And then vanished, like it was never there at all. On Vera, the skies were clear again. Lyra stood on the rebuilt city wall, watching ships fly overhead. Not human ships, council ships. Traders, medics, repair drones. Life was returning, but the people had changed. They whispered instead of shouting. They moved carefully. No one talked loudly about war anymore, and no one ever spoke Earth's name without lowering their voice. The galaxy had gotten what it asked for. Help. But the price was something no one could undo. Now they remembered Earth. One day, a soft chime rang through the city square. Everyone stopped. Above them, a small black satellite passed overhead. Its smooth surface reflected nothing. No lights blinked. As it floated silently across the sky. A single voice played through every device, every screen, every speaker on the planet. It was the same human woman. Commander Era, you called. We answered. The voice was calm, cold. Final. We left a message behind. One warning, one truth. Then the signal paused. You do not own the stars. You only borrow their silence. If you forget, we return. The message ended. The satellite continued drifting. No one spoke. In the Galactic Council chamber, the tension had turned to fear. All their systems had been restored, but changed. Their defense platforms couldn't be used against Earth anymore. Coded with locked signals and silent watchers hidden deep in the code. Their navigation charts now had blank zones, areas marked only with a warning. Do not enter. Even their war archives had been rewritten. Every battle, every file involving Earth had one line stamped across it, classified by order of Earth. The Council had power, but Earth now had control, without staying, without ruling, without firing. A final shot back on Vera. Lyra stood at the ruins of her old station, where she had sent the SOS, where everything began. Now, only flowers grew around the melted transmitter. It hummed gently, still active, still facing Earth, but she never touched it again. She knew better now. She didn't fear Earth's power. She feared their silence. In a dark corner of the galaxy, a young pilot flew near a no-signal zone. He laughed, ignoring the warnings. I bet Earth's just a myth. All stories. His co-pilot stared at the sensors. They're real. How do you know? The ship's lights flickered once. A soft beep echoed through the cockpit. One word appeared on the screen. Listening. It turned back immediately. Elsewhere, deep underground on a council world, a researcher tried rebuilding old swarm tech. He thought no one would notice. He was wrong. His lights cut out. A black figure appeared in the reflection of his screen. It didn't speak. It didn't attack. It simply stood there. Watching. The researcher ran and never returned. On Vera's highest hill, a monument was built by the survivors. It was made of black stone, simple, smooth, and unmarked. No names, no flags, just a circle of metal at the top. When touched, it played a soft chime. The same words, always the same. This world was saved, not by kindness, not by mercy, but by silence. Lyra visited every week. Sometimes she brought flowers. Sometimes she just listened. She no longer waited for Earth to return. Because Earth didn't need to return. Their silence was already everywhere. In the stars. In the codes. In the hearts of those who once forgot them. The galaxy healed, but it never forgot, because when the galaxy had called for aid, Earth answered. And then the stars fell silent. Forever changed.